Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Two Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're giving you guys our first impressions of the brand new Trivium album titled What the Dead Men Say. So, the time has finally come for the new Trivium album. We both love this band, one of my favorite bands in general. And this album is probably one of the most anticipated releases of the year. We reviewed their last album, The Sin and the Sentence. It got 2 toe tags. It was the number one of 2017 for both of us. That album was a total masterpiece. So the bar is like way up here. Like the expectations are kind of high because of being a follow-up to that album.
That's true.
But we've heard a bunch of the all the singles they released, which were the title track, Catastrophist, Amongst the Shadows and the Stones, and Bleed Into Me. All the songs were amazing. Bleed Into Me was good, but the rest of them were phenomenal songs. So the expectations are kind of even higher because it's like, well, all the songs they released were sick, so the rest of the album should be sick.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that I wouldn't say I really love this band. I would say that this is a band that I've always liked, but I got a newfound respect for them after The Sin and the Sentence because that album was so strong. So my bar is really high. The singles I thought were all good, but didn't really love any of them. So we'll see how the album is and how I feel about it afterwards.
Yeah, so we're gonna listen to What the Dead Men Say for the very first time in its entirety, and we'll be back to give you guys our first impressions, so stay put. Okay, well, we just listened to What the Dead Men Say for the first time in its entirety, and wow, this album is sick.
Yeah.
And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the last song, titled The Ones We Leave Behind. This song felt like a sequel, a direct sequel to The Sin and the Sentence title track.
When the song starts, you immediately get that vibe.
You get it like instantly, like literally at the start of the song.
Yeah.
And you could say that's to a fault, like, oh, it sounds just like a song from last album, but it does it differently. It doesn't sound just like the song. You can sing the lyrics to The Sin and the Sentence on top of that and it would fit, but it still has its own body, it has its own personality to it. It's an awesome song, and I feel like I'm slightly biased because the title track from the last album is just one of my favorite songs in general.
Yeah.
Super crazy hype song. That was one of the biggest things I got from this song here, hype. It just built you up so much, and it's like, yeah, let's go. Now, the rest of the album was a fucking trip. The highest rated track was the title track, What the Dead Men Say. Honestly, I cannot say there's anything that this song ever did wrong. I feel like it's just a perfect song. I feel like the way that the first track, which is 1X or 9, built up to it, referenced the melodies in the song, and then the song itself was just crazy. The choruses were catchy, but they were still really cool. The song was just nuts. It was just an onslaught, and I feel like a lot of the songs on this album are just onslaught. Just look at all this crazy stuff. There's a lot to unpack with it. Yeah. And I feel like Catastrophist, Amongst the Shadows and the Stones, hell, even The Ones We Leave Behind, and Bending the Arc to Fear, songs like those have a lot happening, and there's so much. Especially also, which one? Sickness Unto You. Holy shit. When I saw the track length at around 6 minutes, I had a feeling it was going to be similar to Catastrophist, where it was just a big package, and that it sure was. Oh my god.
Yeah, there was the Sickness Unto You I got 3 songs that were rated, basically my top 3 were rated the same, and that was one of them. What the Dead Men Say and Amongst the Shadows and the Stones was another one. But Sickness Unto You is one of those songs that just feels special because it just goes in so many different directions, and every direction feels like the right move.
And it also feels so unpredictable. Like, another section happens and it's like, oh, we're doing this now, but I like it.
Yeah, like right near the end, it gets really proggy, like almost Dream Theater-esque type of, vibe I was getting. But there's so much happening. Like, it opens with a cymbal roll. It's like, there's sick, chunky bass lines. The rhythmic patterns in this song and other songs are just like, they just take you for a ride. You're sitting there going, oh my god, oh shit, that's what he's doing now? Oh wow, listen to that. Like, it's just constant stuff happening that's just making me go, wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, honestly, one of the biggest highlights of this album to me was the bass and how much presence there was, how deep it sounded, how much body it had.
Yeah.
Like, usually, I find a lot of the time when you're listening to music, the bass is something you don't really, like, pick out, but if it wasn't there, you would notice it. But on this album, you can pick out the bass, and you can really hear it clearly. And it's awesome.
Yep, he's right. The bass is definitely prominent on the album through most of it. It does take a bit of a backseat, which basses typically do. But for a lot of it, it almost seems like Paolo took a step forward and was like, no guys, I'm standing front stage for this. You know, and fuck, he does a sick job, man. It really sounds good.
And another thing that just super stands out, it almost goes without saying, is Alex fucking Bent. This guy. One of the most talented drummers I've heard in the game.
Yeah.
Dude, he does so many things, so many small things. The polyrhythms he does are super sick.
Yeah.
There's one small thing, super tiny thing, that he does in the title track. And I noticed this when we first reacted to the music video. I literally noticed it first listen. When he's playing and he's on the ride like ding, 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 ding. He does 8th notes, but just for a single bar. Like,
yeah.
only one bar. He does not do it at all in the rest of the song. Just that one small thing. And I love it. Every time I hear it, it's so fucking cool. And it's just the smallest thing. But it's things like that that make a great song and a great album. Is that if the smallest thing like that can really pop to you, then you know it's good.
It is those small things, definitely. And the word that kept coming to my mind listening to this when it comes to Alex Bent is finesse.
Yes.
It's just so much finesse. Like, the guy really likes to play on the cymbals. He likes the ride. He likes the brass. He really likes the brass. And he uses them very effectively. He just really knows his way around the kit, man. And there's a lot of drummers out there that are really skilled, but this guy, I feel like, is in a different league. I feel like he's, in a way, setting trends, perhaps. Similarly to how Chris Adler did back in early Lamb of God days. That's how I feel about Alex Bent, man. I feel like he's, I
will say
he's really shining.
Yeah, really influential. I will say the cymbal play that he's doing has kind of started to bleed into my own play because I really like that. And ever since I heard it when he started doing that on the last album, he does it here too. I've been like, fuck, that's really cool. I should try that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff. And you know what? I also want to talk about something else. We talked about the bass. We talked about the drums. Matt's vocals. Okay, this is something that's been a little bit of a controversial topic on this channel because when we first covered Trivium on this channel, me specifically, I stated that I wasn't really a fan of Matt's vocals. I wouldn't say I'm a fan now, but I'm definitely appreciating his vocals more. I feel like he's definitely cleaned up his vocals a lot. He's got a lot more power in his voice. He's definitely using his voice a lot more. He's hitting some really nice notes. There's a lot of cool, not quite vibrato, but I guess tonal fluctuation and stuff like that. He's just doing a lot of cool things. My problem with it is, I always have a problem with things, is that I find the choruses of these songs to be a little bit too sing-alongy and maybe like too hooky, too catchy. And for me, I'm having trouble deciding whether or not it's like the Taylor Swift effect, which is basically like Taylor Swift song comes on the radio, you can't help but like kind of groove into it because it's catchy, it's designed to be like that, so people you know, enjoy it because of the catchiness.
Yeah, you were saying that specifically when we listened to Scattering the Ashes.
Yeah, I just feel like the choruses specifically are formulated to hook people, and even though I might like it, I feel dirty liking it. I don't know, there's a weird thing. But these are the kinds of things that grow on me, and you know, I'll be listening to this in my car in a couple days, and I'll be belting the choruses along with it. And that's just how it's gonna go. I can see it. I can see the future.
It's a lot like Endless Night from the last album. Like, you really want to belt that chorus every single time.
Yeah.
And you know, one thing I wanted to mention is about Bleed Into Me, which when we checked out the quote-unquote video, because it was just like a 10-second loop, when we checked it out, we were like, oh, I don't know about the song. I really like the verses. I really like the bass presence of the song. I like that. It was just the chorus that I'm not 100% on, but I really think that is something that will grow on me throughout the album. And I think with context into the album, it fits. Because right after that is the Defiant, which surprisingly to me really sounds like Ascendancy in the Crusade. Like, it really has a thrashier vibe.
I got like Light to Fly's vibes from that song.
Yeah.
I will add though that Bleed Into Me was my lowest rated song. It definitely has a Heart From Your Hate vibe to it, but not as catchy as that song. The riff's not as cool. I really hope it's a grower because that's definitely my lowest rated song, and if that's the only thing that's really holding the album back for me, I think it's gonna be a pretty good week.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we're gonna listen to this album constantly over and over throughout the entire week, and we'll be back next week to review What the Dead Men Say. Anyway guys, that's all we got for you today. Remember to like the video if you like it. Comment, tell us in the comments below, what are your thoughts day one of the album's release? Do you like the songs that we like? Do you like the songs we don't like? There's really not much that we don't like about this album on our first impression. So just talk in the comments below. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, and check out our Spotify playlist in the description below. I'm TV Fish.
And I'm Vile Self.
We'll see you guys later.